All right, let's stick with COVID-19. Are we going to experience another dry December? As the country continues to experience a surge in COVID-19 cases, some people are worried about this, fearing government will impose a booze ban. The liquor traders sector is calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to be guided by science before making any decisions that might impact them. It says a ban will be devastating for an already struggling sector. For more on this, I'm joined by Lucky Ntimane from the National Liquor Traders Council. Lucky, good speaking to you again. So are you worried that there might be another booze ban or not?
Thank you, Shahan, for the opportunity. We are not worried that we might face a booze ban simply because the science that the president has stated he wants to follow in determining the course of action to take to fight the fourth wave doesn't support any ban on alcohol, doesn't even certainly support any restrictions against any sale of alcohol. So we are not really worried or concerned. And also, Shahan, what gives us confidence is that we have done our part as the alcohol industry to ensure that our traders vaccinate, our staff vaccinate, and our families vaccinate, so that we can support government's efforts to ensure that we all fight COVID-19 together. So if anything, the industry deserves an applaud, for the sterling work they've done to ensure that we support our government. We will not certainly be expecting a ban or even restriction on alcohol in that regard.
Okay, I'll talk to you about vaccine positions in a bit, but let me talk about the science, which you say the president should actually look at, right? Because previously you also argued that there was no science for ban on the sale of booze, but that happened. So what's different this time? Why are you so confident?
I think, Shahan, there actually was a science on the part of the president, but it was just political science and not medical science. So for now, Shahan, we have heard the president make statements, especially with regards to the fighting the unjustified travel restrictions placed on our country, where he stressed the issue of science. And we certainly hope that when he follows that medical science, it will also lead him to believe that there is really no justification whatsoever to further lock our country down, because that on its own, Shahan, has ensured that we lose the number of jobs that we have seen as a result of these lockdowns. I mean, as a sector, we have lost certainly about 165,000 jobs just in the midst of these bans that we had to be subjected to. We believe that the president has now finally come around and he understands the implications of the unjustified bans that he has meted against us, and he certainly will not want to repeat that mistake, not least in an economy that is growing at less than 2% per annum. So certainly we need all hands on deck, and we as an industry are saying we are here to work with the president, with the government, to make sure that we fight COVID-19 together. Certainly based on those points, we do not see that there is any room whatsoever that can justify having a ban or even restriction in this holiday period.
Stranger things have happened. So let's talk about what happens if the president does go to this Monday to Thursday only in terms of sales for alcohol. Is that going to affect the industry a lot or not?
It will definitely affect the industry a lot, because if you look at how that works out in real life, is that you have now businesses that operate over a 7-day period that have got costs that are laid out of a 7-day period. So now if you only allow them to trade over a 4-day period, it means the workers that are also linked to those stores are only able to earn a salary that is based on a 4-day period and not 7 days. So you certainly cannot have a sustainable environment in which the costs are pegged at 100%, and yet the income that you derive cannot really justify only opening over a 4-day period. And we believe that there is not certainly a science behind such a move, not least even common sense, to justify why people must trade over a 4-day period instead of a normal 7-day period as dictated to by the license regulations.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the encouragement of vaccinations. We had so many sectors, NEDLAC meeting as well this week, saying that they are going to back vaccine mandates for companies, specifically in the private sector as well. What's your position as an industry here?
Look, we have noted the NEDLAC statement, and we need to place on record that NEDLAC doesn't speak for us. We are not party to NEDLAC. We do not sit in the engagement, so they were speaking for their own members. For us, we are saying, as the president has noted, and mentioning that there is going to be a task team that is going to look at the issue of vaccine mandates. We welcome the issue that this is on the table, and it's something that we need to discuss. But we are saying to government, talk to us. If there are any decisions that are going to have a material effect on our business operations and on our survival, we certainly need to be involved. Even though it might be a miracle for us to be involved, because we know that government doesn't want to talk to the alcohol industry. That's why they even term us, we are a sin industry. We do not matter to this government. But we are saying, talk to us if you want to have any chance of us supporting any moves that you want in order to fight COVID-19. We certainly will not support anything, any mandate, vaccine mandate whatsoever, where we're not being able to put an input. Because if you look at the tavern sector, it's complex. If you're going to ask for people to produce certificates to enter into a tavern, I mean, if you look at it, we have over 39,000 taverns across the country. These are single owner-run business enterprises. So does it mean that when someone goes into a tavern, for example, the owner must then leave the counter and go and check, the certificate? But we are saying we are open to any move that is going to ensure that we support government's efforts to ensure that we fight COVID-19 together. But the issue of vaccine mandates is something that we need to have an input on. It's not something that must be forced down on us. If government decides to go ahead on the issue of vaccine mandates for our sector, we're certainly going to reject it on the basis that we're not party to those conversations.
But, I mean, surely you would understand the science and reasons behind it. I don't know if you should just reject it because you haven't been party to the negotiations. Because remember, government has a task team, Lucky, that's looking into it, and then there's no blanket mandate. There's obviously exceptions. And I'm sure you can raise concerns with that task team.
Certainly, Shahan, I think we are on the same page. We are saying that once government consulted us, we will be able to advance our points that government needs to consider when they implement this in our space, because we are a unique environment that needs to be taken into consideration. All we are saying, Shahan, is decisions have been taken for us, without us in the past. Certainly, we're not going to be party to such moves again in the future, where decisions will be taken for us, without us. We are saying, on the issue of vaccine mandates, include us in those discussions if those mandates are going to affect our sector. If we are excluded, we certainly are not going to support any moves whatsoever that will have a material effect on our businesses. So if we're not included in those conversations.
All right, yeah, we get what Lucky Ntimane is saying. We lost signal there, unfortunately. He's from the National Liquor Traders Council.